Princess Beatrice and her husband Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi waved to well-wishers this afternoon as the Queen's coffin left Buckingham Palace for the last time to lie in state. Members of the royal family led by King Charles walked behind the coffin in a poignant procession to Westminster Hall for the lying in state. Beatrice and Edoardo did not take part in the procession but were among royals who travelled by car. The couple looked solemn as they waved from their vehicle to crowds who gathered in central London. Beatrice's younger sister Princess Eugenie and her husband Jack Brooksbank were also at Westminster Hall, where a service was held before the lying in state officially opened. In the procession, the King walked in line with the Princess Royal, the Duke of York and the Earl of Wessex. Behind the late monarch's children were her grandsons Prince William, Prince Harry, and Peter Phillips. The Prince of Wales and the Duke of Sussex have been at the centre of an ongoing rift, but the brothers have united in their grief for their grandmother. They were followed by Princess Anne's husband Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, the Duke of Gloucester, the late Queen's cousin, and her nephew the Earl of Snowdown. Beatrice and Edoardo waved to the crowds. Image, Dave Nelson, the Queen Consort, the Princess of Wales, the Duchess of Sussex and the Countess of Wessex travelled by car. Camilla and Kate were in a vehicle together, while Meghan was with Sophie. Pulled on a gun carriage of the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery, the coffin was draped with a royal standard and adorned with the imperial state crown. Taking the lead was the pomp and pageantry of the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment and military bands. Beatrice and her husband pictured at the service at Westminster Hall. Image, Getty, Princess Eugenie was joined by her husband Jack Brooksbank. Image, Getty. The couple travelled to Westminster Hall by car. Image, Dave Nelson. Members of the royal family led by King Charles walked behind the coffin in a poignant procession. Image, Getty. The Queen's coffin leaves Buckingham Palace for the final time in emotional scenes. Image, Getty. Members of the public line the mall to watch the procession. Image, Getty. Thousands of mourners gathered to see the moving sight of the late Queen departing the official residence where she spent so much of her working life at the heart of the nation during her historic 70-year reign. The nation's longest reigning monarch, who died peacefully at Balmoral last Thursday, had arrived at the royal residence on Tuesday evening in the rain, but for her departure the weather was bright. The late Queen's coffin was transported on the George gun carriage, which carried King George VI's coffin from Sandringham Church to Wolferton Station in February 1952 and was used during the funeral of the Queen Mother in 2002. The journey past landmarks the Queen knew well, like Horse Guards Parade, the Cenotaph and Downing Street. The imperial state crown sits on top of the coffin. Image, Getty. Brothers William and Harry take part in the procession. Image, Getty. Meghan travelled in a car with Sophie. Image, Getty. The Queen Consort and the Princess of Wales. Image, Getty. The late Queen's coffin is lying in state at Westminster Hall. Image, Getty. A number of people could be seen wiping away tears as the coffin made its way down the mall. Accompanied by her family, the Queen is effectively being handed over to the nation for her lying in state over 4 days ahead of the state funeral on Monday. The King and the senior royals saluted the coffin as it was carried by a bearer party, 8 soldiers from Queen's Company 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards, into Westminster Hall. A short service was conducted by the Archbishop of Canterbury. Dozens of wider members of the royal family attended, including Zara and Mike Tyndall, Lady Louise Windsor, Viscount Severn, Lord Freddie Windsor, Prince and Princess Michael of Kent, and the Duke of Kent. Trending members of the public already started queuing yesterday to attend the late Queen's lying in state at Westminster Hall, which officially opened at 5 p.m. today. It will continue until 6:30 a.m. next Monday, the day of the state funeral. People are expected to wait for hours to pay their respects to the beloved royal matriarch.